a long-awaited video. But I figure since I probably should have already had the baby by now, I should really just get this video out. I know so many of you have so many questions, so let's just talk about it. So if you haven't watched our other video where we tell our family that we're having a baby, go watch that, because Ben and I both together talk about how we decided to have another baby and that whole process, and then we show footage of hearing the heartbeat for the first time and my family's reaction, and that's a good starting video. Guess what I found out yesterday? Mom has a baby in her stomach.
Ellie, you call me right now! Right now!
No! You're pregnant! You're pregnant! You're pregnant! You have another baby!
It's the baby. You hear it, Christian?
Look at the TV.
What do you think that is? We didn't announce we were having a baby until I was 20 weeks. At first we wanted to just wait long enough to make sure everything was okay before we announced anything. And then we just kind of got to a point where we really liked just having it between us. So we just didn't say anything, just because it kind of just made it really fun for Ben and I. So then I get to my 20-week appointment, and we're still in New York, and it was just gonna be me because Ben and I decided this is probably our last baby. So we wanted to do everything different. So I found out the genders on both Gracie and Christian beforehand. So I'm if this is the last baby I have, let's not find out. I was going to my 20-week ultrasound appointment where you usually find out the gender by myself, because he didn't know if he could not find out and not be able to look away. The way things are in New York is they usually just don't have ultrasound things at doctors' offices. You usually go to a hospital to get any ultrasounds done. So I'm not at my doctor's office, and I'm going to the hospital to get an ultrasound. It's supposed to be super routine. And so I go in, and my world was just rocked. I am halfway through my pregnancy. I'm heading to get my halfway ultrasound. Check out all the anatomy and stuff. This is typically where you find out the gender of your baby. They better not ruin it, because I don't want to know. Well, it's definitely not how I thought that appointment would go. It's just not really the feeling you want to leave with, you know? I mean, the last thing you want to hear is, oh, we have to double check something. And then when they do, and you hear, I'm gonna get the doctor in to talk to you. That's the last thing you want to hear, you know? So now I guess I'll try and explain everything to Ben, who wasn't able to be there today. The doctor that they had on call at the hospital comes in to talk to me, and she just happens to not speak English that well. And so for her, the only way that she could properly communicate to me with that language difference was just super blunt, with like no emotion and just like flat out says it in probably the worst way that she could have. No fault to her own, you know, it was kind of just like a language thing, and that obviously made things worse, hearing it the way that I heard it. So I was diagnosed with a complicated version of complete previa. And what complete previa is when your placenta is completely centered and covering your entire birth canal. And basically she was saying that as the baby gets bigger and the weight is pushing on your placenta, she just flat out said, like, if you bleed, you better hope you clot or else. That's not ever something you want to hear. And then to hear that something is potentially life-threatening, you know? I'm watching. Now, here's the reason why I didn't want to tell anyone. The biggest thing that initially freaked me out almost immediately was I had an aunt who died giving birth to their third baby due to loss of blood. And that was just a little too close to home. You know what I mean? And then I didn't want anyone to say anything. Like, I didn't want to say anything because then you get reactions from two completely different sides of the spectrum, right? I didn't know that I'd be able to handle people downplaying it. Like, oh, I had that, or oh, my sister had that, and they were fine. You're gonna be fine. Because, like, mine's unique and mine was complicated and mine can be different, and you know what? Maybe mine's not gonna be okay. And so I just didn't know that I could hear people just trying to tell me, like, oh, it's nothing to be worried about, because I felt like I was justified to be a little worried. But then also on the other side of that, I know people, really close people who had it, who were not fine. And I didn't want people to tell me their horror stories to freak me out more. So basically they said there's literally nothing you can do about it. We just have to wait and have you progress and have the baby get bigger. And you just don't do anything. You just wait and see if anything changes. And so at 20 weeks, they said, we'll just have another ultrasound once you hit third trimester. And if nothing has changed by third trimester, we're gonna have to schedule you for surgery to get the baby out, because we can't have that wait as the baby gets bigger and give you that chance to bleed. So then we moved to Arizona. So we move across the country. I have to find a new doctor, and for whatever reason, it takes forever with just like so many hiccups and problems to get new insurance to start kicking in and to find a new doctor who is accepting new clients, especially high-risk clients, and it was like a mess. So this whole time I have no idea what my body's doing. I go well past third trimester and I still haven't had that ultrasound quite yet to see where my body and baby are. Anyways, third trimester comes and goes, and I do end up having an ultrasound. And hey, so today is July 10th. July 10th. I am about to go meet my new doctor for the first time. It's been about a month and a half since I've seen a doctor, which is so crazy. The third trimester mark was kind of crucial because if things hadn't changed by now, we want them to. We want them to change. But if things hadn't changed by third trimester yet, then they most likely won't. which means we'd kind of have to go the unwanted, scary route for the rest of the pregnancy and also delivery. Insurance isn't working yet, so we're gonna have to self-pay today, but it's important that we go. And then by our next appointment that we'll set up today, it should be good to go. Look at that baby. Everyone knows the gender except me. Also, update, there was a little progress made. Not enough, but I'm like elated right now because I'll take little progress over no progress any day. Is that little progress that's been made enough to change anything? We're still looking at like great things, lots of doctor's appointments coming up, lots of planning for delivery at like 36 weeks, surgeries, close eye on me, lots of stuff I can't do, but the little change that was made makes me hopeful that maybe things can continue to shift and change things. Okay, so then we get another wave of unexpected. They're looking for stickers for Christian and I'm getting a tetanus shot. I have to come in tomorrow, which will make me going here 3 days in a row. I have to have an ultrasound. The baby is measuring incredibly little, which is common for high risk. And so we need to do some more measurements and then I'll have to start coming in every week and do some extra monitoring because of it all. So I'm pretty far along and my baby's not growing. Baby should have been anywhere from 50 to 100% and baby is at 6%, and we're worried that baby's not growing. And then obviously it's just heartbreaking. Like, what does that mean? What could that mean? What are things gonna look like now? Is my baby gonna make it? If they live, are they gonna have complications or disabilities or like... Okay, baby update. We just had our ultrasound. Look who came. And we didn't even peek. We still don't know the gender. Baby is growing. We won't know until the doctor gets a hold of us where we're at. As far as concerns or normal or whatever, but it is growing and that was a good relief. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. But fast forward to like 2 weeks ago, 37 or 38-ish weeks. Everything's fine. Obviously, I'm elated that everything somehow took care of itself. The baby started growing within like a week and a half, just like still measuring small, but like nothing that we need to be concerned about and tracking anymore. And then all of a sudden during one of those ultrasounds, they said if things don't change during third trimester, they don't change. But here I am at 37 weeks and somehow my placenta completely moved. My doctor here in Arizona said he's never seen my version of complete previa shift in the history of him being a doctor ever. I don't know, like it's just like weird to wrap your mind around something that, you know, for so long you've been so worried about and have to plan and prepare and do all of these things, and then it's just like disappears. Like I couldn't understand that for a while. Today is August 27th. Last doctor's appointment 2 weeks ago, I got cleared from surgery, which is like the biggest miracle. If I wasn't, and I still needed surgery, I would be having that surgery in a week. So now I'm just here at my due date. It's still pregnant, and although very grateful that things are so different and healthy, I am so uncomfortable and so done being pregnant that I'm ready for this to just be over completely. Get out of me, please. Anyways, we'll get into this week's message and montage. Although this isn't like a weekly vlog, I'm gonna do a message and montage anyways, except I'm gonna do all of our pregnancy photos instead of our video clips that we normally do. So I'll start the music, and hopefully I won't be pregnant next video. I found myself saying, God is so good, after finally hearing good news and miracles about this pregnancy. But did that mean God was not good all of the times I left hearing bad news? You know, was God still good after I received a high-risk diagnosis? Was he still good after continued and unfolding complications? Is he still good when the miracles don't come? The reality is, through the good and the bad, God does not play favorites. Through the good and the bad, the wanted and the unwanted, through miracles or surviving or passing on to the next phase, he does not turn his back, nor does he close his eyes, neglect, or abandon. The reality is, the biggest miracle we're trying to attain is not prevention. If it were about avoidance and prevention, then what of Christ's life and sacrifice? Was his life of being mocked and spit on and falsely judged and murdered? Was it because angels were not there? Was it because his prayers were not heard? Was it because God was not mindful of him? Or is it because God is not always good? No way. Perhaps one of my favorite verses for perspective is God himself being referenced. It pleased the Lord to bruise him. Why? Because there was, in fact, something so much more to come. So what if we got it all backwards? What if every step is the miracle? Because regardless, God is there. He is in charge, he is leading, and he is perfect. God is good, even during the unwanted. He is good during the passing time and the passing opportunities and the passing miracles. God is good because regardless of our narrow-mindedness and personal pursuits, he keeps his promises. He is good both in continued life and in passing. He is good because he is aware. He is conscious. He is actively part of every detail of our spirits, and he does not play favorites. We are his, always in his care. God is good because we are part of something so much bigger than what our limited desires can protest. So much bigger than what's here. Not abandoning or overlooking, but intricately and profoundly involved in bringing us to what's next. You know, God is good even when our situation is not, because he knows something we don't, something greater.